Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Travel Guidelines and Perspectives presented by Step One. It gives me great pleasure to welcome all of you. I am Raghvendra Prasad, founder of Project Step One, and I have a very distinguished panel here, whom I'll introduce in a bit. Uh, so the panel consists of very distinguished gentleman and one lady. I'll first start with Dr. Gnanamurthy, who's a consultant pediatrician and president of the infectious diseases chapter of IAP. Dr. Gnanamurthy has had a distinguished career as a pediatrician. He's been the president of IAP Bangalore in 2011. He's been the president of IAP chapter of Karnataka in 2014. He's the Joint Chief IAP Action Plans Coordinator in the year 2018-19, and the CIAP Election Officer for years 2017, 2018, and 2019. Please welcome Dr. Gnanamurthy. Welcome, Dr. Gnanamurthy.
Thank you. Thank you for kind words of introduction.
Thank you. Then we have Shashank Saini. Shashank is a technology specialist with cross-industry experience of over a decade. He has worked in healthcare as well as in the hospitality industries. In fact, he brings a unique career, which he's actually educated in the hospitality sector, but I think made his name and fame in the healthcare sector. He brings with him deep and cutting-edge knowledge of technology, engineering, and analytics across IT, print, and electronic media, including digital marketing services. Cutting his teeth, spanning a number of functional roles in startups and large corporates in diverse industries, he has had an illustrious and eventful career. He's also an active member of Project Step One, a pan-India health initiative of many doctors and technologists. Currently, he's working with Ujala Cygnus Healthcare as the head of digital health. Please join me in welcoming Shashank Saini. Welcome, Shashank.
Thank you, Rex. Thank you so much. I'm privileged to be here on the panel.
Thank you. Over to Mrs. Vinita Kiran, born and brought up in Bangalore. Vinita finished her graduation in arts and went on to pursue her passion, which was at that time diploma in aviation trade. Her career started as a travel executive in a few private companies, and later on, she ventured into forming her own company in the year 2007. With an exhaustive experience of over 2 decades in the travel industry, she has successfully led tours to many countries around the globe. Welcome, Mrs. Vinita Kiran.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
So, a quick background about Project Step One. Project Step One is a 100% volunteer-run free telemedicine service. We are more than 7 months old initiative, and we provide free telemedicine to COVID-affected citizens across 16 states in 18 languages of the country. We have touched over 50 million lives through over 1 million teleconsultations, and it has been possible because of a community of citizen volunteers, doctors, and of course our counselors. In fact, Dr. Gnanamurthy as well as Shashank, who are panelists, are volunteers and have contributed to Project Step One. So Project Step One is an impactful citizen and doctors initiative that needs to spread wider to be able to get COVID under control in India. I think we are doing very well in terms of COVID in India. And many of you viewers who are watching us on YouTube or Facebook Live, if you're interested, you can join Project Step One. You can give a missed call to 08047192219 if you're a doctor. Or next slide. You can give us a missed call on 08061972266 if you're not a doctor. So with that, once again, I'll welcome all the panelists and would like to dwell straight into our topic of discussion, which is on travel guidelines. I think all of you will agree that 2020 was a very turbulent year in our lives. But we are right now in 2021. 2021 is surely a year of hope, um, hope of winning over the pandemic with vaccination, hope of economic revival, hope of a free life, and thereby also hope of some fun with relaxation and maybe some travel. The travel industry has been one of the worst hit or the worst hit by the pandemic. All forms of travel were hit by the pandemic. However, in India, I think since Diwali, there has been a slow but steady rise in travel, mostly in the domestic leisure sector. But the travel sector is still very far from being anywhere close to normal. This is because of the second wave in Europe, which has put most of the travel restrictions, which were supposed to be eased out for international travel, they have not been eased out because of the second wave, which most of the Western world is facing right now. Also, internally, still the domestic sector is still, uh, heavily regulated, and the guidelines are very stringent. But the travel sector is key for business, for economic growth, and for return to normalcy, right? So today we will get the perspective of our panelists on how can the travel guidelines evolve. What are the things that we can do to both revive the travel industry as well as make sure that the from all perspectives make sure that things are protected. We don't want I think all of us know that COVID spread in the first place due to travel, due to air travel. Though it originated only in China, it quickly moved on to the various parts of the world due to travel, which was one of the reasons why the travel industry had to be shut down in most countries. But can we do something in a way that we revive the industry at the same time, keep our vigil on the spread of the disease itself? What are the travel guidelines and policies? How should they evolve in 2021? And what are the changes and challenges we all can expect? That's the topic of today's discussion. So I want to first start by asking how the pandemic has changed travel. Has the travel changed forever? I will start with Mrs. Vinuta. Has travel industry changed at all, and has it
Yeah.
changed forever?
I can say it has changed a lot. Actually, it has changed a lot, I can say, and it is still a standstill now. It takes more time to restart again back to the normal pre-pandemic style. So it's very, very I can say a lot of road trips are happening. Most of them prefer homestays and villas type of accommodations they prefer, and of course, they travel a lot, but restricted to many things. And again, a lot of changes happen to airlines, through airlines, hotels industries, car rentals, cruises. Everyone are facing the post-pandemic problems. Uh, some people have started, but precautions are to be taken before, after, while traveling, like wearing mask all the time, sanitizing it regularly, and you have to maintain 6 feet distance from each other. There are a lot of rules and regulations and guidelines are going on. Like you have to install your Arogya Setu app, RTDS, PCR test is mandatory to fly. Those type of restrictions are more. Compulsory web check-ins are there. Only pre-booked meals are served in flights. Like lot of changes happening here. So yeah, I can say a lot of things changed a lot now.
Thanks. So what Dr. Gnana, if I can bring you in now into the discussion,
Okay.
what are the key challenges for the travel industry? On one hand, I think the travel industry is the backbone, and but on the other hand, the travel industry is responsible for for initial spread of the virus. So what are the challenges, and how should we look at the travel industry at all in the first place?
Thank you, Dr. Raghavendra, and also Mrs. Vinita clearly brought out her problem, her vision, her views. See, no doubt the travel industries, they not only brought out the pandemicity of the COVID across the world, and it also responsible for the growth of economy across the world also. So it was looking for both the angles. In one angle, it brought the illness across the world. In another angle, it is because it has hit the entire industries in the world. It's slowed down. So one thing from my side, as a doctor, as a man concerned with health of individual, that takes up a top priority. I need to bring very things very clearly to you. A little bit basics of what is this COVID-19. We all know it's a virus, and it got the name because it is called as coronavirus disease, and it's first time seen in the year 2019. Not that coronavirus itself is a new virus; it's a old virus, but it's a new genetically configured new type of virus where none of the individual across the world have immunity for it. Since nobody had immunity for this, almost every individual in the world is susceptible to get infection because of this virus. And second thing is, it is mainly spread through airborne. We have different types of mode of spreading the virus. Either it could be via airborne or waterborne or foodborne or vector-borne. If it happened to be vector-borne, like it spreads through these mosquitoes and other things, and waterborne or foodborne, we can take a lot of precautions well in advance. But air is freely available everywhere, where you cannot filter the air. So that's how it spreads. And second thing, because none of us have immunity, we're all prone for infections. Mind you, again here, 98% of the people who get affected get back to normalcy. It is only 2% of the populations. Unfortunately, it is not because of virus, it is because of the robust immunity in them, which causes illness among those people. However, what we are concerned is the tricky situation is one is priority is airborne. It spreads through air. The second thing here it is when you look into the evolution of the disease pattern, how it spreads in the individual, there's what is called as incubation period. Once it affects a person and goes to body, by the time it manifests as an illness like fever, cold, cough, it will take at least anywhere from 3 to 10 days, say maximum 10 days. And among the people who are affected, almost one third to 50% may not show up any problem at all. They are called as asymptomatic. Now, these are the two segment of population in the world who can silently spread if they're allowed to travel, if they're allowed to move around. So this is the one thing we're concerned, and this is the one thing where we cannot detect. So before you could detect them, they would have spread the illness everywhere. It's only the rest of the people who are mildly symptomatic or really ill where we can pick up because of their syndromes, symptomatology and signs, and also because of COVID test, we can pick up. But by then, by the time you pick up, what you're picking up is only a tip of the iceberg of illnesses among the populations. So the rest of the population is under the water. We cannot trace them. So that's the reason why there has to be a hard step fact that it is airborne. So the entire mobility, dynamicity was made still. So the reason why the travel industry got badly affected. Now that people also were initially were very apprehensive when illnesses are very limited in few places. Now that's everywhere and people got used to it and people have learned how to take care of themselves. I think this is a step where we need to go ahead in moving around to stabilize the economy of the populations or a country or nations everywhere. Because see, it is just not enough. We have to save the life. We need to support the life. To support the life, you need to make your livings. To make his livings, there are many parallel structures like travel industries, other industries, IT industries. For everything, you have a travel line. So we need to take care of it. So what is most important, what the way we people have learned, the three things, three mantras, SMS, that is spacing, That is distancing. It is not socially distancing. It is physically distancing, at least 6 feet or 2 meters from each other as far as possible. Masking, a proper masking is required. And number three is sanitization. With these three mantras, if our travel colleagues can understand and apply this science in their field, I think we can go ahead. I think it's time now. People have realized, people have understood the seriousness, and people also understood how safe they have to be, not only to respect themselves, also to respect others by not getting illness. Thank you.
Thanks for those perspectives, Dr. Knana. The
Yeah.
SMS you think is good enough, or it's mandatory to be adopted by the colleagues in the travel industry. So what Shashank, if I can bring you in now, what would be the challenges for someone who's framing the policies regarding travel? What are the challenges that they will face, and how do you think the guidelines should be evolved, keeping in mind SMS or other protocols? Some countries seem to have done better than others in this, and also within India, we see some states have done better than others with respect to what do you think distinguishes these the people who have done well versus the ones who are lagging behind?
Yeah, Rex, I think in 2021 and years to come, the contactless technology will become the norm across the industry, right? And especially when we talk about the hospitality industry, right? While the automated cleaning features, IoT preventative measures will become a commonplace in every guest room and common area. This is the only way to stop the spread of the virus and ensure the guest safety and the travelers' health also. Right, as the industry has resumed its services now, everything has become contactless. I think, and those countries, those who have adopted technology at a faster speed at an initial level, are still able to revive from the damage. And the rate of contactless service is increasing as the time is passing. Airlines, airports, your local bus services, your state transport in terms of railway, are using the faster technologies that are helping passengers to operate in like check-in kiosks or avoid touching communal screens. We are also having touchless parking, right? And that's not in India and across the other countries in globe. A contactless baggage drop. Many airports have incorporated commuted tomography checkpoint cameras that enable security officers to have a 3D view of the passenger's bag, right? As the guidelines and the policies are changing every week, depending upon the virulence of the coronavirus infection, it is creating a huge confusion in passengers and travelers' mind. I think this further leads to unnecessary chaos, and getting the commuters getting confused. I think the decision-making process should be multi-sectoral, ensure coordination of the measures implemented by national and international transport authorities and other relevant sectors should be aligned with the overall national strategies of adjusting public health and social measures. As doctor said, it's not only the airline or the travel industry. I think the support of the other as well is very important, because everything is connected by the travel. Travel becomes the more of the common denominator between all the industry that we see across globe. And however, for travel to fully recommence, I think government will understand require proofs that are not bringing COVID-19 with them. The travelers are not bringing COVID-19 infections with them. Might be presenting verified proof of immunity, might become a requirement for passengers before airlines will allow them to board a flight. It is something similar like a passport or a visa, or might be a recent talks that we are hearing these days in the news is countries asking for the vaccine certificates or the test reports before onboarding the flights. I think these will become pretty common norms and mandate norms by the government going forward. And hence, I think once the vaccine is out, I think even the commuters or the local population will have immense support in obtaining these documents for them to travel safely to national and international borders also.
Thanks, Shashank. So what you have highlighted, I think, is that there are many innovations that have come in, which are helping the industry. I'll bring Dr. Gnana in. Dr. Gnana, you want to make a point?
No. What Shashank brought very, very clear, because the policies keep changing now and then. The reason is, see, this type of pandemicity happens once in a century. The last flu episode was in 2014. Sorry, 1914, where it had lasted for almost 4 to 5 years, and almost one third of the population was wiped out. See, that was a different scenario. But now, see, since it's happening once in a way over a century, the evolution of the illness also difficult to predict how it's going to behave. And so for the administrative policies, it takes time, and it's a very dynamic process. It keeps changing. So to bring clear cut instructions how one should go is difficult. It may not. So we need to keep updating ourselves, keep editing ourselves, and go with the flow. Now the fact that we brought out the medical facts about the illness, studying the nature of illness, now administrative policies should be made more simplifier for the people to comply with that. Say, for example, to get a certifications, to get a vaccinations, there are a lot of procedures involved there. Those times should be, made very simplifying to the common people, to get adapted, because each country has their own policy as far as health concern. But with regarding COVID, now it is a universal same problem, same illness across the world. Only thing is, in the manifestation, the severity may change from country to country. For example, in the developed countries, because of their robust immunity and less of infectious diseases, they behave very badly. And also age factors are there. There are some people, in especially small children, hardly we see any illness at all. Though they get affected, they are asymptomatic. Whereas come to the elderly populations, and those who are above 50 are the worst affected, and those who have comorbid factors. So we need to identify based on the country's statistics and epidemiological data, and they have to give clear-cut instructions to the administrative policies, especially while traveling, how they should do. And whatever certification required, that process should be made very simplified, so the common man can comply with that. So again, when you travel, there are a few things we have to consider. One, are you supposed to travel? Is it necessary for you to travel? Make sure. And if you travel, then it is not only respecting yourself, respect other places where you travel. And before you travel, you have to consider yourself how much you are exposed to this type of illness. Fact that it is asymptomatic in some population, fact that it could be incubation period. Whether were you exposed to the populated places, like for some jatras or some functions or some social weddings, some events, or where you came across some infected people or the comorbid people who are having some sort of illness. In that is the case, that means we need to certify yourself as you are suspected. So until you prove yourself you are not affected, you don't travel. So these are the way you should take your personal responsibility, what I'm talking about it. And then comes certifications, where just before traveling, 3 days before traveling, you need to get a certification from the COVID test department. And because this is linked in India, it is linked with ICMR. Moment you get your test done, then your number gets, with your other number, gets registered in the ICMR, and it goes across India all over. And same thing can go to any passport office. So once you're positive, then you have to stay back for at least 14 days. If you're negative only, then you're allowed to travel. And while traveling, make sure in India to have a Setu. That will keep alarming you, not only you, and also the places where you are linked. So this is how we should go for it. Depends on the country how they take up policies. But anyway, right now it is more or less streamlined. So it is for the people, onus leaves the people to learn this, and before they go to a different country, whichever place they go, or even the travel agents, however they travel, they make arrangements, whichever the country they're taking the people, they have to study the demography, epidemiology, and the health policies of that particular place and comply with them before you travel. Thank you.
Thanks. Adding a single line, just adding a single line on what Doctor said. I think this pause has given us the gift of time to consider how we can travel consciously. I think that's
more consciously travel.
Yeah, the ownership lies on
responsible travel.
Yes.
Right. Good point, Shashank. I think good point by Dr. Gnana also. It is
actually now, if you could take care of these pressures, I think we can really request Vinita and their team who are supposed to take care of the hospitality, travel part, to ensure
Yes.
if these things are taken care by a public who travels, there's a long way we can improve and we can start communicating. See, idea is what? It is not that bad disease as what people said. It's only because we are not exposed to it. But if we can take care of it, now in India,
Correct.
almost they say 25% of population, say up to 130 crores, almost 35 crores of people more or less have developed some sort of immunity.
Mm.
Now, to make India free from pandemicity, at least 60% of the population across the world should become immune to this illness. Then only it stops spreading from person to person. When you say what is called as reproductive cycle of illness, this COVID illness has got a reproductive cycle degree of 2.5 or 2.3. That means each person can at any given time can spread to 2 to 3 people. Our motto is to make it one, the reproductive cycle. You should be able to transmit to only one person. So now this distancing, because see, virus cannot survive in the air for more than few hours.
Okay.
So if virus goes to air also, it cannot travel. We are the people who take carries with us. So what Shashank said is the onus lies in the person who travels. So and also it's a duty of a person to help travel industry also. So you have to comply with all the regulations and make sure you don't be a transmitter of virus. You don't carry virus to other places and spread it, because the virus cannot sustain it. It needs a human being, and particularly this COVID-19, it is proved it is not spread through any pets. It is human being is the ultimate host for virus to multiply and to spread other places. The virus will sit on the person, multiplies this, and through him or her, it goes across. So can you imagine? It started somewhere in some village in Wuhan, in China, in some just not even a year back in 2019. It's just a few months, and matter of 3 months, it has caught a wildfire because of that. That shows it is not the exploding of the viruses. It is an explosive market of travel industries. How people have traveled across India,
Across
and
India.
silently entire industry was snubbed. So entire economy was snubbed. People could not move on. People could not sell themselves. People could not carry, but they carried viruses and made other industries shut totally.
Shit.
So we ourselves forced to a
Yeah,
Of
lockdown.
course, yes. So
Yes.
now the
yeah.
travel
If I were
industry can
to,
take care of it. Yeah, if travel industry
if
can
I
take
were
care of
to,
these measures and educate them, carry pamphlets, make sure each time when you travel, because you have a lot of scope, and your
Mm.
exposures with them is very very close. The way we have a exposure with our patients, so we can educate. So also personally, you can take care, educate them, slides, presentations, go for seminars, go to industries, and identify who are the potential people who travels. Go there, give your educative materials, like the way our Raghavendra and the team, they have done a lot of things through the step one. I'm telling you honestly, and it's wonderful. So your scope is there. Now that people have understood the severity of the people, and people have understood the way they should behave with SMS mantras, I think travel industry should take up now, should moving forward
take
and
off.
improve the economy across the world.
Yes.
Because now
Yeah. So
initially when the virus was declared, the surviving of the person life was important. Now that we know how to take care of it. Now the supporting of the life is important. That the industry and the economy across world should take care of it, because we need to live.
Okay.
How to live without our to make both ends meet? We need support. We need to work.
yeah,
We need to earn our bread and butter, because now life is there, but not to sustain the life. We need water. We need food, isn't it?
yeah.
The
If I
only
were
air
to
is
bring
Definitely.
Vinuta, what are the things that you think the
we have a lot
travel
of scope.
industry can do? Travel industry can do in terms of making some of these guidelines. Are there any innovations that the travel industry itself has done, which have helped the both to curb spread, at the same time, provide a safe environment for travel for common citizens?
Yes, definitely. Lot of people, as I said, just started to travel, and they take a lot of travel agencies or travel advisors' help, so that they can know where exactly this COVID-19, spread is less. Depending on that, they will travel. And like so many other places within India and abroad, also a lot of borders are opened. So they are focusing on those places and covering those places. They are enjoying their holidays, especially. I can say a lot of domestic tourism has started, and which is impacting on business and jobs in some destinations. I think only once international borders open up freely, I think more recovery will happen. And I can see one. So, like Arogya Setu is very, very important now, taking RPC test. And there are a lot of changes happened in pre-booked meals in the flights. Airlines and airport direct self-directions forms will be, declaration form will be filled. There are a lot of changes and challenges are coming up. So, I mean, travelers
A few
also should
things.
understand and yeah,
A few things which I know that the travel industry has innovated is, I think, most of the industry has changed to 100% refund, because in the past,
yeah, last
there
moment
was no refund
cancellations.
policy, but now pretty much every hotel is giving 100% refund, or at least all the number of platforms are giving. So if there is for any reason, if there is a need to change your travel plans, then at least you don't have to worry about losing money. That is, I
Yes,
think, will go a long way in encouraging people,
tourism. Yeah. Yes,
right? And
yes.
also, there is a lot of focus on sanitizing. There are visual measures to show that your room has been sanitized, or the place where you're going has been sanitized, that are being adopted by the industry. I
Right.
think all of us are used to just the toilets, having a sanitized uh, sign, or just a paper marker in some good hotels that this is cleaned and sanitized. But now
Yes.
you are beginning to see that in every everywhere in the room, and also in restaurants, where sometimes when you go. Similarly, I think a lot of uh, the transport, there is a huge, I think the cabs have started, and other transport have
Yeah,
started showing that
cycles or
there is
even
a
cars are there. Yeah, a lot of people use
right.
that.
So there's a lot of innovation that is happening. Shashank, if I were to bring you in, what are the things that you think your industry, which is the hospital industry, what are the things that the hospital industry can do to help travelers? Are they doing enough? Do you think there can be special services that can be given to help boost the travel sector?
Well, I think Rex, I think majority of us come from a healthcare background, and we understand that this COVID-19 pandemic has proven to be a testing time for the global healthcare systems. It has brought out existing flaws, areas of improvement, and most significantly, the need of digital transformation, right? And me personally being a fan of technology, right, and when I see the evaluation or the evolution of technology in healthcare now, right, the days when a diagnosis was more difficult than a cure are now relegated to history, right? We are in the age where technologies like IoT, AI, cloud are powering healthcare systems, right? Smart healthcare is not just a sought after concept anymore. It has branched out into telemedicine, online diagnosis, remote expert advice, smart marketing, and much more. I think all these infusions can be implemented in travel industry, where a traveler is more comfortable, is more attached to his doctor or to a healthcare, right? In case whenever he's traveling from a point A to B, right? At least all these handy things, the digital tools that we call, right? As we talk about Argya Setu, or more apps like which are helping out the government or the individuals, in terms of social distancing or physical markations and all. I think that will really help these the travel sector. I think the implementation and the growth in terms of technology or powering this industry, right, towards the technology, healthcare tech. I think that will bring up and give more confidence to the travelers out there. I think the remote monitoring. I think when we discuss in past, and we have discussed in many times in our other sessions, that telemedicine can play a pretty important and a crucial role and in this particular situation that the world had not planned or prepared for, and had paved a way of telemedicine platforms like never before. While the adoption of digital health tools had already seen a surge before the pandemic, but the openness towards embracing telemedicine or the digital technology was a reckoning no one saw coming. And travelers now need good testing facilities, right, inside the airport or the exit entry checkpoints, right. A lot of digital tools can be implemented. So if we travel, and there are a lot of testing tools or technology which are reducing the waiting time for a traveler, and is speeding up the process of a check-in for a traveler. I think those technological and healthcare infusion will also help patient, or sorry, not the patient, to for the travelers to come forward and start traveling more and more, whether it's domestic or it's international.
Thanks,
Mr.
thanks, Shashank. Yeah,
Raghavendra, if I am to understand, see, when we're
sure.
talking about travel industries in today's era, so what exactly are we confining? Are we confining only to the human traveling, or entire goods itself? The travel industries, if you ask me, one aspect, there is a traveling for business purpose. Okay, another aspect is tourism, where they go on luxury, or maybe for relaxation, or as a part of their life. That tourism part has come down. At the moment, we cannot force them to pick it up. But the travel industry would travel for the business purpose. That has to be encouraged now, because for the growth has to see everywhere. One. Another thing is, apart from human being transported, there other section also is to be transported to have a good for whatever it is, for the state to state, place to place. See, the entire country or entire world was made standstill because there was a lockdown. So no transportation of anything, food items, your clothing, so machine, whatever. See, there also we need to bring some norms. We need to follow certain precautions how to transport these things. So if I am to understand, when I say about travel industry, I even consider transport industry also. It could be on the surface, it could be by air, it could be by ship, whatever. Because they are also, you have to see, the entire country, no country is self-sufficient now. No place is self-sufficient. We are all interdependent. We are not independent. So for anything for the matter, they say for medical equipment, so whatever you say, anything in the life, the life has become so much used to technology. Whatever you are, only 50%. In other 50%, you're depending on other segment, other sectors. So they all need to be available at any given time, anywhere. So there we need to prioritize and see how best we can take care to transport those things, taking all the sanitary aspect, sanitations, isn't it? See, otherwise, they may
Absolutely.
not export, they may not import, they may not take things across. So that will become standstill. So that also part of a traveling only, part of transport. Then, as Shashank said, but traveling to improve the business purpose as far as possible, because the way the webinars are taken up, the way the internet they exploded, the people see now we are easy to connect. We connect each other now. Say I'm connecting with Raghavendra, with Vinita. So we know that's how it has made revolutions, even in the health industries. In the step one, they have done a fantastic work where the patient was isolated. He thought he has lost from the world for 14 days to 21 days. See, for everyone, every day is important. But we all made sure we spoke to them every day and made sure we gave them enough relief and because that is a time where they had to tide over the crisis. Now, people have become more professionals in the way counseling also. They have taken pain in training the professional also to give professional counseling. So that's how what Shashank said is that vision, that viral aspect of webinars have done it. Now, other aspect is the leisure travels, this will pick up because see, people get frustrated. See, they also see what is health. Health is just not only a physical health, it also mental health, a spiritual health, where the person should have overall well-being, and the person will get exhausted. He also needs some relaxation. So over a course of time, once everything stabilized, once he knows where he's supposed to travel and what are the illness occurring there, or how best he can travel. So for the example, in the sports industries or whatever, even the way sports activities goes on, wherever there are close physical contacts, they can be avoided. Whereas a tennis can be taken up because it plays in different courts. Same
Yeah.
thing you can't do with basketball. The exposure more. So you try to minimize the activities where very person to person are minimized. Encourage other activities. So also in leisurely activities. Instead of going to a pilgrimage place, I'm sorry, we're all religious, but see the crowd there, madness is there. In the name of God, in the name of religion, they go close each other and spread illness. See, that is not right. We have to respect other person living also. Not only we are living, make sure that you won't spread illness to other person. You'll be doing more sin by spreading illness rather than going to a pilgrimage place and causing illness and praying for good of health. Yes, we need to pray, but at the same time, our duty is to make sure we keep distancing so that we can minimize spreading. So those are the places where we should not
Excellent.
encourage traveling. Encourage
Yeah.
traveling where there is enough spacing is done,
Spacing.
enough sanitation is taken care. Make sure people also carry mask, and also make sure people carry the right mask. You have three different types of mask. One is what is called N95. When you say N95 or N99, it filters 95% to 99% of virus. And when it comes to three-layer medical mask, what most of us use, it has got three layers. It filters only 70%. And when you say whatever the regular mask, what we all wear in the for layman, it only filters 50 to 60%. And mind you, most of the time they wear the mask to cover their beard, mush, face, than the important gateway of India for human being, nose. That they'll not cover. Moment they enter your chamber, they'll throw this and start talking because they're more comfortable speaking without a mask. That should
Without
not
the
happen.
mask.
So they should get trained in that. So this is how I feel.
Good, good. All good points.
Travel industry means it involves everything, both
Correct.
human, mankind, and also other things.
And the goods also, yes.
Yeah,
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 good, good point. Good points, Dr. Nana. You're saying that some industries need to be, which are some types of travel, modes of travel, which are more
yes.
safer than others,
We need
needs
to
to be
encourage
more
transfer
encouraged.
things now. To start encouraging. See, like,
Right.
for example, the Human King, where sometime back in Bangalore, we had a lot of workers who belong to this building structure, where
Construction.
the construction buildings industry, where the people were made lockdown, made to stay in one place, and then were about to leave the place and go back to the native, but they didn't have facilities.
Correct.
So this is also one type of transportation, isn't it? Where we should take care. But now it's
Absolutely.
very easy. So where
Absolutely.
is industry growth when they all get arrested in one place? And so also goods
Right.
also. Good transport also need to
Correct.
be well movement. So for example, couriers we get it. The couriers, though we say the virus will not sit on the surface of the courier paper or whatever you send parcels for more than 2 days or 3 days if it is a wooden surface. Okay, or a glass surface not more than 24 hours. Whereas those were raw materials, it may stick for a long time, maybe more than 3 days. But by the time it reach your place, virus may not be there. The problem is the person who carries from his place to the destiny. You should take care of it.
Correct.
And also in most of the offices, we have what is called as incubators where you sanitize with ultraviolet. But most of whatever the hidden viruses also will get killed. So that's what
Right.
we do. Mm.
So, Mr. So yeah, Vinuta, I think I'll bring you in. What are the travel which is relatively safer, which needs to be encouraged, and what is the type of travel which is maybe not the right time for encouraging right now? What are the types of like air travel? Is it can it be encouraged?
Uh, yeah, air travels are sometimes I can say it is safer. As of now, the air bubbles are temporary arrangements between two countries. So most of the places I think air travels are happening, and but depends on the country to country again. And For travelers, yeah, they have to think on their safety measures. And as I told you, a lot of I mean, tests and guidelines are happening. So they will think twice while taking the flight option. Instead of that, they prefer to go by car and go for a nearby destinations and enjoy their holiday or something. If it is very, very much required, in that case, they go on a might be business, or for a student who is interested in going abroad and study. Only those type of travelers are happening now, who is going abroad. Otherwise, most of them are preferring to stay within India and explore nearby places if possible. Yeah, few cities and few places like Kashmir and Goa. On these places, they are doing good. Andaman, they have a good, I think, I mean, their COVID, this thing was very less. So a lot of peoples are enjoying their holiday over there. So in these places, there are so many things that they have to fly and go. So there's no other way to reach the destination. So yeah, but again, there will be social distancing rules and compulsory hygiene things to be followed. All these things are what they have to maintain and uh, follow it. Of course, in few cities before they were having some quarantine rules. Now there are eased most of them. But of course, you have to have on arrival. Some cities have I mean, you have to go for the test, a positive or negative test on spot. So all these are there at the airport. So some people are afraid of these, and I mean, they postpone their travel most of the time. But still, you cannot sit at home all the time. I mean, in fixed places. So everybody wants to go around and enjoy it. So after this, I think after December or 2021 beginning, a lot of people started going for a vacation. uh, Slowly these people are going around. I can say it is as a revenge travel. Being at home for a lot of months, or uh, I mean, might be more than 10 months. It's something called a revenge travel has been started. uh, I mean, they're fed up of lockdowns and other travel restrictions. They just want to go and have leisure time for themselves. These has put up with the luxury travel, niche travels, and they prefer a lot of I mean, holidays like bird watching, jungle safaris, and luxury in more of it, very remote places. All these places are more focusing now. Yeah, you cannot expect the way that it was before 2019. It definitely takes long time to be normal in 2021, or it might take even more than that. So a lot of people, instead of going, I mean, work from home, they prefer to go on work from anywhere. So they book a holiday or a room or hotels for a long time, might be a month, 2 months, 6 months, and work from there. These options are also open up now. New trend has come up. So a lot of changes and things are happening in tourism industry.
No, if I may allowed to add, I think international tourism may not pick up at the moment. If I were to be right, because it's a local tourism is going to pick up. Now,
Yes.
actually, it is because international tourism will not pick up right at the moment because they have their own policies. See, moment you land up in different country, you have to be again quarantined or isolated. See, till you are proved that you are not, though because they have not, you only have a certification with you that you are COVID negative, because of this incubation period where when you are exposed to this again after the test, if you are exposed to a patient having corona or COVID, you will be harboring virus inside your body. 3 days ago you had done test, it was negative. 3 days back, in next 3 days, if you're exposed to virus, you will be carrying the virus to other place. So international tourism may not pick up because you will be again there. You'll be quarantined few days before you take up your tourism activities. So the amount of money you're going to spend there just for quarantining yourself is a huge. So, but the local tourism will definitely improve because there is no such restriction in local tourism, and it's an opportunity where you have to encourage for local tourism. At least so you had an opportunity to see their own places. The wonderful places are there. I think Vinita should give more importance in promoting our own industries locally.
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
What's
And
happening now is more of traveling within India. A
Mm.
lot of people are exposed to travel within India, and they're liking the places, especially like Kashmir. Once upon a time, there nobody was interested in traveling to Kashmir, and now it is very safe. Also, a lot of people are traveling to Kashmir and Himachal, and those places are very unique to explore now.
And
It's the right
also,
time
if
to
you
do
could,
it. So.
yeah, and also if you could bring in some checklist before a person can get in, what are things they should
Mhm.
follow, what are things they should go through, and keep
Yes.
telling them, keep educating them throughout their traveling, and
Hmm.
so that becomes sort of cultured in their thing, traveling.
Yeah.
While traveling.
I think it's time
yeah,
to improve our own industry.
Yeah.
and
Absolutely. I think.
adding to it, Rag, I think we may see destination popularity being dictated by how well the country or region has controlled the virus. I think a lot of OTA
Yeah,
platforms
yeah.
are now, getting the reviews when someone is traveling, like, this particular country was safe. These were the measures were taken by the local government bodies. I think, and a lot of travelers are getting influenced by all these sort of application or the digital tools or the web itself. Before they're getting, as doctor said, the checklist. I think a lot of travelers at a local level are also updating. Like, that for example, I travel to some destination, I might update for all the people's awareness that these are the checklists or these are the local government or authorizations are taking care of yours. So I think that will also play an important role for us or everyone to ensure a safe travel.
No, I
Good,
think
good.
all this periodically should
So
be published
the
in the journals or press, because see, I think a tourism industry person and a medical person and with the administrative person join together, bring out the policies what they should do,
yeah,
for the lay people, for
absolutely
tourists. That will make sense so that they'll understand, and
correct.
you keep updating them also. See, a
Yeah,
tourism can tell from their perspective, I can tell from a health perspective, and then policymaker will tell what are the policies to be followed in that particular region because they are well versed. So that makes more sense for a common person, and that encourage also. See, once you can take care of yourself and you are allowed to carry on your activity, the life will again start booming up.
correct, correct.
Mm.
So we have only last few minutes. So I'll ask all of you. I think we the last question on the panel. So 2021, I think it promises to be a year of hope. There is new strains of virus, right? And but there is also vaccination going on. So what are your predictions for 2021? And personally, what are your travel plans? So I'll start with Shashank. You can go first.
Right. So honestly, I'm not traveling apart from my official tours or something that I am going out to the family or those locations where I have my close friends where I can avoid staying in hotels or something like that. Right. The trend that I see, right, I think we'll see more PCR tests on arrival. As doctor said, SMS will become the topmost priority and a clearer surroundings. And even tourists will be more aware of the places that they are staying at, what they are eating, reviewing the places they are choosing, pre-ordering food. I think all those things will go heavy. We might, I think no free trip changes, sprint bookings, travel advisors and insurance will become more essential. Road trips definitely gonna kick into high gear, and we can expect fewer crowds and experiences at tourist magnets, right? Airlines will have to balance out safety and profits both sides. I think travelers will stay closer to home. We expect more family reunions. Parents will often see their kids. I think that will be the plus point. large gatherings will creep back. I think that's people, the mice and all those large events. I think will take a deep down. I think standalone solo travelers, bikers. I think those type of trips more connected to the nature rather than going to the hotspots. Like I think that will be the trends for the next 2021 and year more.
Thanks, Shashank. Vinuta, your take on 2021, and what are your personal travel plans?
Yeah, although nobody knows exactly what will happen, one thing is clear, we won't be able to travel freely
Madam, could
as
you
we
please come
used
near
to.
the mic? Near the mic,
Yeah,
please.
Yes. How about now?
yeah, slightly better, but you have to speak into the mic. Still, your voice is very low.
Okay. How about? Can I speak?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah, as I told you, nobody knows exactly what will happen now. One thing is clear, we won't be able to travel as freely as before, and for near future at least. A lot of government rules, regulations, health awareness, long-lasting attitude effects of a global pandemic will definitely mean changes for the travel industry to operate. Encouraging news on vaccines has boosted hopes for recovery of tourism. Testing is the new security measures. Rapid testing will become commonplace in many areas, such as airport, railway station, and major events. Of course, COVID vaccine will not be the cure all in 2021. But yeah, um, you have to. I mean, lot of things will happen. Predicting some good news will come in short while, and people will start traveling as usual. So if you ask me, yeah, I will be interested in traveling to nearby destinations, and even to abroad if the borders are opened up and the regulations and all these things are easier to travel abroad.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Grana. Over to you. What are your predictions? Will vaccination
See,
take over?
yeah, the 2021 is going to be a real hope for everyone across the world. One. Number two, because this is a year where we started giving vaccinations, starting from the frontline warriors, and also based on their priority is going to increase. Now, let me tell you, vaccination department came. It's very near to my heart, and because of the vaccination, we have prevented many illness. It's proven safety. And my humble request to entire people, viewers who are here, please take this message. You need to go for vaccination. The vaccination for COVID, it is one of the miraculously because each vaccine to produce will take at least 8 to 10 years. But the scientists who day and night have sat across and done tremendous work and accelerated. They spend a lot of money, they spend a lot of man resources and founded a wonderful weapon to curb this illness. So my sincere request for all is, when an opportunity arises, whatever the vaccines available for COVID, all are almost safe. But only thing is, it gives anywhere from 70 to 85% protection. Just because you've been given vaccinations, don't be under illusion that you are completely covered up. In spite of the best vaccinations, you are only 85% covered. But fact that with given vaccination, the illness, the severity of the illness can be made zero. Even if the patient go through illness, it will be like one of those viruses. And tell you, to achieve 60% of the population to have this immunity, vaccination is the only hope apart from SMS, the masking, social distance, sanitation. So we need to go for it. But regarding the effectiveness of vaccination, it is just like you wearing a seat belt and traveling in a car. How much you're safe? It all depends. But at least major illness will be averted. Like a person carrying the wearing the helmet, if he has not taken care properly, worn a belt or clipped properly, and if it travels, the helmet will fly off. So also think even if vaccine is given, make sure you maintain these three mantras. Social distancing, very rather than social, I would call manual distancing or physical distancing, and then your sanitization and masking. Even if you wear mask, wear properly, not for a style like a tie and all. Please don't wear it. And regarding traveling, there is scope is there. We are going to get back because life will not get over. The life will go on because these type of illnesses keep happening once in a century, once in a century. Because mind you, we are the only guest to this universe. Viruses or bacteria are the old people. They are the oldest generations who were there millions and millions of years ago. They were supposed to be the real owners of this universe. Only we came later on, but now we try to mastering them. So the virus effect will not get over now. It keeps happening now and then, and our lives also will not keep on going. But we have to respect the illnesses, with the respect the virus how it spreads, and make sure ourselves also safe. So, and regarding traveling part, yes, I do love traveling, and let us start with local traveling. And regarding traveling outside the world, outside the country, we'll travel only if required, not as a tourist part. And regarding, I saw a few things regarding wedding. Some people asked whether we can attend wedding. I think wedding is a place where most of the illnesses spreads, because there people, when they gather, they tend to, they would have seen for a long time, and they want to hug each other. They want to show their affection. And most of the people are dressed up and gone there. They want to show the jewels. And again, they try to see who you are, how you are. They try to remove the mask and face each other. So again, there will be more scope for spreading illnesses. So at least another 1 year, until most of the people get vaccinated, try to minimize having overcrowded functions and curb the temptations of showing your faces and talking very closely. No, that also can flare up the illnesses. And regarding vaccinations, they say whether they can safely travel, even if you can vaccinated, you maintain the distance. You are not 100% safe. Still, you may get illness, but that illness, whatever you get, will be very, very, very less. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Narayanamurthy. I think we had an excellent panel discussion which covered all aspects of travel guidelines. The key message is that we need to still continue to follow SMS, which is safe distancing, masking, and sanitization, irrespective of and certain types of travel need to be encouraged. Not all types of travel are safe. We should avoid crowds. It is very difficult for the policymakers to come up with the perfect guidelines. So all of us should be, as responsible citizens, take up responsible travel. Only travel when with all precautions ourselves. There are a lot of things which the travel industry can do to encourage travel, to make it easy for people. I think the travel industry has to do its part. The healthcare industry can also do a lot of things, and I think if all of us do this, then we'll quickly be out of this situation. If everyone does their part and contributes with their, but the travel industry definitely has changed forever. We probably will see a very different industry once everything comes back to normal. So with this, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Gnanamurthy, Mrs. Vinita Kiran, and Shashank Seni, and also Shruti and Vishal, who have behind the scenes helped a lot to bring this forward. So thank you all, and wish you all a happy Saturday evening.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Rex.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.